Have you all heard of the term DINKs? DINKs, DINKs, dual income, no kids. Well, DINKs make an average salary of around 138,000 per year, nearly 7% more than dual income couples with kids, but they're less likely to own a home. Here's why and what it means. I have been talking about the global birth rate decline, and I've been doing so for a while now. Now, in the United States, the current birth rate is about 1.64. And I am wondering if that number is even as high as it is because of immigration and people coming here and the United States being better than the climate that they were leaving. So I don't even really know if native born Americans are having 1.64 children per woman. And I wonder if this number will continue to drop, especially the way immigration is such a hot button topic here. Now, let's continue with the article from Yahoo Finance. With younger generations increasingly putting off having kids until later or opting to forego parenthood entirely, dual income, no kids couples, or DINKs, appear to be pulling ahead of the race to build wealth. At least that's what Rocket Mortgage found in their recent analysis of the U.S. Census Bureau's current population survey. While it's not surprising that young professionals without children have more time to focus on their careers, the mortgage lender also found that despite DINKs both earning more and spending less than their peers with kids, of the two groups, they're still less likely to own a home. Here's what that says about the value of home ownership for American households and how that varies based on personal circumstances. Now, when we talk, this is once again putting a value on women's wombs in a roundabout way. When we don't have children, there is not a need to spend as much money. It costs a lot of money to have kids. It costs a lot of money to have kids even before this inflation and ridiculous cost of living. It was already expensive to have kids. So obviously, when people are pulling out of the parenthood game, that is, you can see how that is quantified. Folks might not believe this, but economists are probably, pulling out their hair and running around trying to figure out a way to reverse this. But they are not doing so in a way that makes sense because leaders still haven't put any policies into place that will make this turnaround anytime soon. Digging into the data, Rocket Mortgage noticed that dual income families with kids bring in an average income of $129,000. That's $9,000 less on average than the typical DINK household. But how wide the average income gap is between these groups depends on where they live. In states like Connecticut, DINKs earn up to 70% more than dual incomes with kids. The income is just one side of the financial equation. The other side is the expenses, which is obviously higher for families with the children. Raising a child has always been expensive, but the higher inflation rate in recent years has made it unattainable for some. The Brookings Institute estimates that raising a child to 17 is going to cost well over $310,000. Lord, y'all, please watch more of my videos so I can get some of this money. That's tens of thousands of dollars every year that the typical DINK family doesn't need to consider. I'm tired and stressed just imagining, considering my kids are 6 and 9 right now. And so what accounts for the home ownership gap? It may come down to the matter of differing priorities. Couples with kids had a home ownership rate of 72% compared to 52% for those without kids. However, both groups have to deal with the same tricky market conditions. The average cost of owning a home is $416,000. Who has this type of money? The cost of living, when bumping it up against the incomes, is just unsustainable. You can understand why people are opting out of having kids. Okay, so the average cost of a home is $416,000, while the average mortgage rates remain above 7%. There is no discounts for parents. There's differences in necessity. DINKs don't have to worry about good neighborhood schools or playgrounds. They don't have to worry about planning for kids' education. They don't have to factor in any of this. And they could just get up and leave. Oh man, the freedom to just get up and leave. You don't have to worry about finding a new school. You don't have to, if someone's neighbor sucks, they could just get up and leave. This is freedom. Simply put, families with children may earn less and spend more, but they're more likely to be homeowners because they need to be. People like me have to consider the kids first, and that is not a bad thing. That obviously just makes sense. But this is also, and like I said, I'm always roping things in. This is the reason why the child free movement and single women and women in the workforce and women in education, this is the reason why they are the powers that be are consistently coming from them, but for them, because they have freedoms to move around when politics gets nasty towards women, when the finances just aren't there. If they just want to move, they have the freedom to just get up and leave. And the powers that be do not want women to have too much freedom. Finally, to wrap this up, Americans are forming new households faster than new homes are being built, creating a supply demand gap that's estimated at 6.5 million units. This effectively makes home prices less volatile than the stock market or other financial instruments DINKs may be invested in. So while DINKs are pulling ahead now, which group comes out ahead in the end remains to be seen. I'm sure that DINKs will be fine because why wouldn't they be? They don't have as many financial worries to think about as far as the future goes. They only need to really be investing in their futures. But you guys go ahead, jump in the comments. Let me know. Have you even heard of DINKs before? I've only heard about it recently, and I know that the term is not new. So y'all have to jump in and say, the term is not new. Just because it's not new doesn't mean that we have all heard of it. So jump in the comments. Let me know what you think. Are you a DINK? Do you have kids? What do you see is happening in the future?